Good morning. I am Mark Hauer, Provost and CEO of Antioch University, Los Angeles. Welcome to the 2022 Antioch University, Los Angeles Commencement Ceremony. This is our third virtual commencement ceremony during the COVID-19 pandemic. This year, we added a Grad Day Live event in our campus courtyard, and I hope you were able to join us for that special addition to our celebration. Our campus is located in Culver City, and before important events, we have a tradition of reading a land acknowledgement to remember our role and place in a larger story. Antioch University, Los Angeles resides on the traditional and unceded territory of the Tongva people. These lands and the Tongva people continue to carry the stories of this nation and the people's struggles for survival and identity. With this land acknowledgement, we take a step toward learning these stories and identifying ways to join in decolonial and indigenous movements for sovereignty and self-determination. Thank you all for joining us today to recognize our graduating students and to celebrate their accomplishments. Honored students, congratulations. Your hard work and perseverance during an especially challenging time have allowed you to realize your goals. I am delighted to acknowledge your achievements and to welcome you into the community of Antioch alumni. While we celebrate each student here today, individual success also rests on the support of others. I want to take a moment to acknowledge those who have helped you. Families and friends, without you, the graduates would likely not have reached this point. Your support has been critical to their success. Thank you for all you've done. Faculty have, of course, been a big part of each student's learning journey. They have built the curriculum, shared their expertise, and encouraged you to do and be your best. The faculty are in a Zoom room at this moment. Faculty, thank you, and please be recognized. I also want to take a moment to address the significance of this day for the staff, administrators, and all who work at Antioch. Commencement for us is a powerful reminder of why we do this work. A small dedicated group made this commencement possible, beginning with Sandy Lee, our Chief of Operations, who carefully plans and coordinates this event every year. And great thanks to the Commencement Committee, which includes Andrea Richards, Susan Nero, Lauren Moran, Francis Hernandez, and Jonathan Hall. Finally, before I continue, I want to share with all of you that the coming year will be the 50th anniversary of Antioch University, Los Angeles. We will be celebrating this important milestone throughout the coming year, and we hope you will join us often. First on our list of recognizing student achievement today is a celebration of the Bridge program. An important part of an AULA education is the connection made between quality education and values rooted in social justice. Since 1999, the Division of Undergraduate Studies has been living those values through the Bridge program, which provides free humanities education and experiential learning for adults looking for a bridge to higher education. Please welcome co-director of the Bridge program, Russell Thornhill.
Thank you, Dr. Hauer. Greetings to you all. Today, we celebrate the accomplishments of our students' 22nd year of the Bridge program. I am honored to introduce the Bridge program speaker for the class of 2022, Mr. Vernon Robinson. Vernon Robinson is a man that exudes equal parts style and substance. Vernon is a lifelong learner, enjoys stimulating conversation and lots of laughter. He cherishes and values his relationships with others. Vernon is an advocate for personal transformation and tries to inspire others. Vernon says that he has two passions in life. He enjoys dressing his body handsomely, and he enjoys dressing his mind even more handsomely. When asked about his likes or dislikes, his answer is always the same. I simply like the best. Please welcome Vernon Robinson.
I want to begin this talk by saying thank you to the Antioch University for having the insight to establish the Bridge program. But before I go into all of my thank yous to everyone, I'd like to tell you a little story about something that happened to me. During the second quarter, I was working on a paper for 6 hours at least. And while I was on the last portion of my work, I was feeling especially proud of myself. Then I hit the wrong key. And in an instant, all my work was gone into thin air. Never saw it again. And that sent me into a tailspin. I mean, I didn't touch a computer, I didn't touch a pen, I didn't touch a paper for at least 3 weeks. During class one night, I mentioned I was having some difficulty, but I didn't explain exactly what was going on with me. Immediately, my classmates began to reassure me that I would get through, that I would finish this, that I had this. And it was their encouragement, their belief in me that caused me to be here today. Catherine had always told us that whatever you were dealing with, bring it to Bridge program. Don't suffer in silence. And it was true. I brought it to Bridge and they helped me get through. My classmates were the bridge that got me through the Bridge program. So I want to say thank you to all the faculty members involved in organizing the program, but more specifically, I really want to thank the individual professors that instructed us in the program. Fabian, our art professor, showed me things not only about paintings and how to look at art pieces, but helped guide my vision to the world around me. Because of you, I now see my total environment as a work of art that tells a story. And I truly, truly thank you for this gift. Jacob, as a philosopher and historian, you are an amazing mind. The depth and the breadth of your knowledge is simply inspiring. Jacob, you guided our thinking about history in directions I'm sure many of us were not aware of. Sir, you have encouraged me to grow up to be like you. And Aaron, our literature professor, what can I say? The discussions we had were just simply fantastic. You have such a way of bringing each piece of literature to the center of our own selves. You showed us our common humanity in literature. And I want to give a truly heartfelt thank you to Catherine Pope, our writing instructor. She was with us from the beginning to the end. So thank you, Catherine. I appreciate you dearly. By way of your guidance and patience, we are here today more confident in our potential, perhaps than ever before. You are foundational to any growth, any development that follows. So thank you so very, very much. Naturally, our appreciation goes to the teacher's assistants who were just amazing. Nicole, who had to leave us early on, thank you for your help. Manzi, Ginger, and Najla, we really appreciate you all tremendously. You know, I'm really, really honored and I'm deeply humbled for this opportunity to represent the Bridge class of 2022. And I might add that that's where the honor truly belongs, to my fellow classmates. In class one evening, I asked each of my fellow classmates for a word that described their experience of our journey together. So from my mouth to your ears, I speak their words. It has been an amazing experience, enlightening, encouraging, magnificent, successful, supportive, nurturing, human-centered excellence, rewarding, grateful to be vulnerable with each other. It's been ever so healing. And I think most importantly, it is a wonderful family. I must say thank you to you all for giving so freely of yourselves to me as well as each other. As a bridge carries you from one point to another point, this Bridge program has carried us from one point to another point within ourselves. We have crossed this bridge together from not knowing to knowing and realizing the potential within. So, to my fellow graduates of the class of 2022, congratulations and thank you all so very, very much. I appreciate you all and I'm looking forward to seeing you again.
It is my pleasure to be reading the names of the Bridge Class of 2022 who are participating in today's ceremony. Lisa B. Jennifer Campos. Larae Cantley. Letitia Good. Vernon Robinson. Arturo Rodriguez. Carlos Salinas. David Yenya. Natasba Wooden. Zara Yesemanova. Congratulations to the Bridge Program Class of 2022.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mihi Hyun, and I am the chair of the Division of Undergraduate Studies. It is my honor to introduce today's undergraduate student speaker, Katie Holtz. Katie was raised in the suburbs of Chicago and has called Los Angeles home for the past 11 years. She has spent her time in LA working in homeless services, providing case management to folks living on the streets in Santa Monica and Skid Row. As an undergrad, she TA'd for the Bridge program, hosted the first online artistic uprising, and assisted with research on a human sexuality book. She fast-tracked into Antioch's Master's in Clinical Psych program in the spring. Please welcome the 2022 commencement speaker for undergraduate studies, Katie Holtz.
Class of 2021-2022. It has been a wild ride, and I am honored to be standing here as the undergraduate commencement speaker. I would like to thank my mother, Donna, and father, Randy, who passed away in December, but got to see me with a diploma in my hand. Raising me was not easy, but you never gave up, and we're always proud of this wild child. My sister Ange, my twinnies, and my TPC comrades, y'all stood by my side and gave me the confidence to go on and start my master's. And to my incredibly patient partner, Charles, none of this would be possible without your support. But most importantly, I would like to thank all of you for showing up for yourselves and each other today. Some of us have never stepped foot on Antioch soil. Some, like myself, started this journey on campus, getting lost in the halls and spending too much money at Tremont Cafe. Then, alongside the rest of the world, we had our lives turned upside down on March 13th, 2020. And whether you chose to take a break or power through while feeling the weight of uncertainty closing in, here you are with a diploma in your hand. So, take a deep breath and relish in this moment where we can collectively be proud of where our journeys have taken us. I started this program in the spring of 2018 as a 35-year-old college dropout with infinite curiosity, but also self-doubt, insecurities, and a head filled with negative self-talk. What if I couldn't keep up? What if I failed one more time? What if everyone laughed at me for being too old? I spent the first 6 months of this program crying in class, in the hall, and on my partner's shoulders. Then one of my classes altered the course of my life. It opened up a world of possibilities I never dreamed of, but I was scared that I would fail at something else that I loved so much. Working on a paper for that class one night, I wrote and erased until I couldn't handle the stress any longer. Filled with shame, I emailed the professor to let him know I would not be turning the paper in. He responded and told me to turn literally anything in. So I wrote some words and I slapped a cover page on it, calling it, "This is not a paper." His response brought me to tears. His response is the reason I hammered on through my undergrad and why I believe in myself. His response went like this: "You are right. This is not a paper, but that does not mean that it was not necessary. Like water in a pot on the back burner over a low flame, bubbles are forming and you are beginning to simmer. So receive my grace for that. Give yourself grace for that. As you can, sit with your simmer. Write me again sometime." To the class of 2021-2022, we landed here because we are misfits with a purpose. Whatever you decide to do after this, find those people who believe in you and listen to them. Give yourselves grace, give others grace. Thank you and congratulations.
It is my pleasure to be reading the names of the undergraduate class of 2022 who are participating in today's ceremony. Sarah Beatrice Alperin. Ione Bakrak. Deba Bavel. Marissa Crawford. Arpi Darvitian. Mary Sideropoulos Glennon. Nicole Goodman. Elise Gray. Brenda Azucena Grow. Kyle E. Grow. Rebecca Harrison. Carrie Lynn Hawthorne. Katie Holtz. Levin Jarrett. Michelle Klimash. Carrie Lane. Angela Michelle McMahon. Levi Milligan. Diana Parasa Diaz. Olivia Amelie Santer Jansen. Sharon Swain. Annie Teal. Patricia Vargas. Madison Wilson. Julie Wyans. Masha Wu. Congratulations to the undergraduate class of 2022.
Hello, my name is Cynthia McDermott. As the chair of the Antioch University Los Angeles Education Department, it is my honor to introduce the 2022 Education Commencement Speaker, Daniel Lockman. Daniel Lockman received his teaching credential at Antioch in 2016, completed his master's degree in education earlier this year, and just completed his fifth year teaching middle school at Magnolia Science Academy 6. The only thing Daniel loves more than the Dodgers are the Lakers. He pictures himself teaching in a remote rural environment somewhere off the grid in the coming years. Please welcome our class of 2022 Education Department Speaker, Daniel Lockman.
I am humbled and honored to have been asked to speak today. Much has been written about how the pandemic has affected and impacted education. Between all of the supposed learning loss, anxiety, depression, and stress, a great deal of ink has been spilled analyzing how this catastrophe has been felt in schools and classrooms. If the pandemic has taught us anything about education, it has reinforced what we already knew, which is that education is fundamentally dependent on building human relationships. These relationships of trust, respect, and care are not easily replaced or replicated with computer programs, machines, and algorithms. This focus on relationship building within the classroom is at the heart of the education department at Antioch, LA. Despite all the focus on test scores dropping and learning gaps, the past 2 years of school have been a crisis of emotional and psychological health. Nowhere will you find a more critical and honest assessment of the burden of high-stakes testing than at Antioch, LA. The solution, according to the great professors I studied under, was to create a rich classroom culture based on inquiry learning with multiple pathways to solutions, where the emphasis is on critical thinking and not teaching to a test. When I was first getting my teaching credential at Antioch 6 years ago, I learned about inquiry-based math lessons, which I had previously never encountered. Inquiry math allows students to explore the various ways problems can be solved, and not just memorize steps. It was emphasized to us emerging educators that there is more than one way to look at numbers in a math problem, and more than one way to get the correct solution. These are important and powerful concepts that everyone who studied at Antioch can continue to emphasize in math classes that they teach today. Antioch graduates encourage their students to take safe risks and to not steal the struggle from one another by just giving each other answers. Professors in this program inspire us to develop creative and engaging struggles where students can have fun navigating and learning. Finally, this program is a force for social justice, and the professors are upstanders who lead by example. They have empowered myself and other graduates to be even more critical and selective as it relates to curriculum development, sources used, and perspectives acknowledged and highlighted. As a result, generations of students are being trained in how to be more critical of sourcing themselves and are receiving a more well-rounded, less Eurocentric social science education than previous generations of learners. Thank you to the professors who had this impact on our education and training, like Greg Bryant, Dave Nettle, and Sean Arce, just to name a few. A special thank you to Cynthia and Fred, who are like my educational godparents. You both walk the walk every day, running this department and teaching such fun classes. Your influence on schools and classrooms across the region is huge and incalculable. It saddens me that this program is coming to an end. We are facing a crisis in education where there is a dire need for new young teachers. A progressive education, like the one we all experienced here, is essential because what affects our young learners today will affect the entire country and world tomorrow. Congratulations to everyone on your achievements today, and thank you to everyone who helped us get here.
It is my pleasure to be reading the names of the Education Department's class of 2022 who are participating in today's ceremony. Georgina Aguilar, Keenan Darnell Anderson, Beatrice Ascension, Judy Bolton, Jesse Cardenas, Andrea Garcia Elizondo, Charis Colleen Robinson. Congratulations to the Education Department's class of 2022.
My name is Jane Paul, and I have served for several years as teaching faculty and a faculty advisor in the Urban Sustainability Department. It is with great pleasure that I introduce to you the commencement speaker for Urban Sustainability, Michael Pistaninzi. Michael is a certified arborist and program manager working at an urban forestry nonprofit in the Bay Area. He has almost a decade of experience enhancing public green space and providing environmental education. He entered the Urban Sustainability Program as a returned Peace Corps volunteer after his service as a 10th grade math and biology teacher in Liberia, West Africa. It has been a pleasure having Michael as both a mentee and a student. He brought a global perspective, a warm and generous collaborative energy, and a positive, proactive vibe to the program. Please welcome our Urban Sustainability speaker, Michael Pistaninzi.
Thank you, fellow speakers, distinguished guests, graduates, and all the family and friends present today. It is an honor to represent the Urban Sustainability Program at Antioch University, Los Angeles. Many of us here today have experienced a less than characteristic education these past 2 years. While atypical, the experience at Antioch has been rewarding and full of growth for me. In spring 2020, I, along with about 7,500 others, were brought home from Peace Corps service. I had worked in Liberia teaching math and biology for 3 years and had to leave abruptly. Feeling a little lost, I investigated utilizing the Peace Corps Scholarship and found the Coverdell Fellowship within the Urban Sustainability Program at Antioch. I wanted to use the time I had been given wisely to continue to grow and learn, while also recognizing that the pandemic is a stressful time that may limit some abilities to associate and interact in typical ways. I feel privileged to have found a home with this school and program that provided this educational experience with efficiency and productivity. My passion lies in working with public green spaces and urban forestry. This program emphasized social factors that have helped me develop professionally, expanding on my scientific background. The exciting content in the urban sustainability program, the perseverance within the GIS courses, and the opportunity to expand my teaching skills as a virtual TA have created a multifaceted experience at this school. Antioch has offered me more than I could have hoped, all without ever visiting LA. I've thought of my graduate class as the pandemic cohort. Entering the program in fall 2020 meant that all 4 of our semesters straddled the campus closures, the economic upheaval, and the social challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic. While a time of stress for all of us, it was not a stagnant time for us here graduating today. I'm an arborist here in the Bay Area, and I always get questions in the summertime about a dying tree in the landscape. The California buckeye, Aesculus californica, has adapted to the dry Californian summertimes as its summer deciduous. During a time of stress, it conserves its resources, in this case water, by dropping leaves and ceasing all photosynthesis during a time when most other trees are taking full advantage of the abundant sunlight. The buckeye retreats, not to die back, but to wait until the environment suits it, to take full advantage of the opportunity to have both sun and water available. As students of the pandemic, we did not die back. We took advantage of the conditions and persevered. We gathered our resources and looked at how we can use this moment to get prepared for what comes next. We will emerge from this moment of stress stronger and ready to make a positive change in our world. As the buckeye, it may not have been the classic experience, but it suited us during an anomalous time. Working with trees, I'm frequently considering the future. What will the green spaces of our cities and shared experience with trees resemble in decades to come? A small tree planted today does not reach maturity for many years. We must consider the urban environment carefully and think about what we want for the future. I urge all today, students, faculty, and guests, to take a holistic view of our lives, help each other, be kind, and get involved. While there are many changes in times of stress ahead, there's also opportunity to shift the environmental and social challenges for the better. I wish all graduates the best of fortunes and thank Antioch for the opportunity.
I am pleased to read the names of the Urban Sustainability Department's class of 2022 who are participating in today's ceremony. I shall also be reading the names of graduates from Antioch University's School of Distance and Extended Education who are participating in today's ceremony. Sharonda Bush, Matthew Thomas Candell, Michael Pistaninzi, Melissa Rumanowski. Congratulations to the Urban Sustainability Department's class of 2022.
My name is Tanika Jackson, and I am the chair of the Antioch University Los Angeles Psychology Department. It is my great pleasure to introduce the 2022 Psychology Commencement Speaker, Andronique Nikki Wilson. Nikki is graduating with a Master's of Arts in Clinical Psychology. During her time at Antioch, Nikki gained knowledge in psychology, and she trained with ACTS, Antioch Community Therapy Services. Nikki realized she had a passion for healing others through the art of therapy. After completing the program in December of 2021, Nikki is now a registered associate marriage family therapist, working with an organization that caters to underprivileged communities. Nikki plans to pursue a doctorate degree in multicultural studies, specializing in intergenerational traumas in POC communities. Please welcome the Psychology Department's commencement speaker, Andronique Nikki Wilson.
Good morning, faculty, staff, friends, family, and 2022 graduates. It is an honor and a privilege to be speaking with you all on this wonderful grand day. I was born and raised in South Central LA, around the 1992 riots. Everyone has a story to tell, and mine is no different. When coming to Antioch, I worked 3 jobs just to put myself through school. I kept questioning myself, can I do this? Is this really for me to pursue higher education? Is this even worth it? And then, just like that, the pandemic came. We all pushed through it. And even watching how the 2020 Black Lives Matter riots and civil unrest, we persist and push through it. With the trials and tribulations of overcoming many obstacles in the recent years with losing loved ones to shootings and sickness. I remember starting Antioch as a goofball. I just wanted to finish school and get out of my neighborhood. However, as I began my clinical training, I realized that this is much bigger than me. Mental health is a priority that needs to be nourished through time and care. With the right knowledge and training, we all grew into our new roles as clinical therapists. A role of a therapist is someone who heals through active listening, having an opportunity for our client's story to be heard, and giving our clients the power of voice and motivation to find solutions for themselves. In the words of the beautiful, educated, and successful Michelle Obama, don't be afraid, be focused, be determined, be hopeful, be empowered. She continues in saying, success isn't about how much money you make, it's about the difference you make in people's lives. Yes, Miss Obama is correct. There is no doubt that we are placed here on this beautiful green earth to bring a positive impact to the world for our greatest good. Graduates from Antioch University, Los Angeles, take your right hand and lift it up and pat yourselves on the back. Continue patting because we did it. Through hard work and determination, we did it. Congratulations to the class of 2022.
At this time, I shall read the names of the Psychology Department's class of 2022 who are participating in today's ceremony. Babylonia Avaz, Taylor Brooke Alderetti, Mason Allred, Claire Anderson, Camila Argueta, Melissa Avila, Natalie Badaway, Jason Bernstein, Jesselyn Berry, Daniel Bess, David Blacker, Theodora Blanchfield, Corey Blissett, Andrew Borden, Sierra Rose Brown, Caitlin Jean Buys, Allison Byers, Christopher Chamberlain, Michelle Candice Clark, Lana Cohen, Borzu Brad Devarpana, Stephanie Marie Divino, Andrew DiConcetto, Chad Dispensa, Lauren Doctor, Christine Donlin, Lindsay Doolin, Amanda Dornson Greenfield, Amanda Ebersberger, Nicole Elizabeth, Christy Ellis, Casey Emmett, Kate Edinger, Cindy Ferguson, Benjamin Gage, Cristobal Galvan, Cynthia Greenberg Dunlop, Natalie Guerra, Anthony Gulla, Alyssa Hackett, Nikolai Hakeem, Jair Hatley, Mian Hill, Misha Lenore Hines, Melissa Hood, Sharnice Howcroft Chapel, Dr. Kimberly Michelle Hubbard, Heather Iononi, Stephen Infield, Christiane Erau, Henry Andreas Kasiska, Lauren Eva Katz, Nicole Kay, Jesse Kelly, Lauren Keneally, Miriam Kent, Quinn Knox, Matthew Cook, Andrew Kravig, Hans Kula Mater, Elise Lauren, Philip Douglas Lewis, Kali Londonio, Alexandria Lubone, Hillary McGregor, Giovanna Scarlett Marquez, Katie Massey, Gail McCann, Shannon McClements, Paris McShane Bonbright, Erica Milan Barker, Allison Mills, Brandy Mills, Maddie Miyoshi, John Montserrat, Stacy Montgomery, Natalie Moran, Chanel Mucci, Haley Murphy, Isaiah J. Narvaez, Chanel Denise Nealon, Robert J. O'Brien, Pavlo Chernyshenko O'Connor, Sarah Onifer, Tatiana Padovan, Claire Kelly Pariente, Matthew Permoy, Sarah Phillips, Carly Perazzo, Orion Queer, Rudy Ramirez, Rachel Aaron Reese, Zan Robertson, Robin Romer, Alyssa Rogers, Mark Stephen Rosella, Zimra Rose Elias, Laurel Ray Salmon, Abigail Sanko, Christian Savoy, Ryan Schindler, Lindsay Schlatter, William David Schofield Jr., Alexandria Asia Schuler, Royce Shortino, Arun Kumar Sharma, Jacqueline Simon, Eric Slamovich, Anthony Soiki, Stacy Spencer, Sue Catherine Spuler, Stanny Spurlock, Brandon Stevens Seckler, Annalena Straubinger, Rochelle Sermani, Spencer Sussin, Michelle Lisa Takagaki, Sheila Teeley, Natalie Tijerina, Chris Tompkins, Evelyn Vargas, Jonathan Vela, Caroline Wallace, Scott Whalen, Andronique Nikki Wilson, Gregory Darrell Wilson, Jennifer Yagubi, Zachary Zaret, Rachel Zink. Congratulations to the Psychology Department's class of 2022.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Lacascio Nighthawk, and I am the interim chair of the Creative Writing Department. During this academic year, Antioch University has combined the Los Angeles and Santa Barbara MFA programs together as one. In recognition of this program integration, I am pleased to introduce two 2022 Creative Writing Commencement speakers, Elena Karina Byrne from the Santa Barbara MFA program and Ismael Izzy Santillanes from the Los Angeles MFA program. Pushcart Prize and Best American Poetry recipient Elena Karina Byrne is the author of 5 poetry collections, including If This Makes You Nervous. Freelance work includes lecture and programming positions for the Poetry School, Cambridge University, USC, Beyond Baroque Literary Arts Center, Claremont Graduate University, Todos Santos Writing Workshops, MoCA, J. Paul Getty Center, the New School, the Los Angeles Film School, and elsewhere. Elena is writing screenplays while completing her collection of hybrid essays entitled Voyeur Hour. I am pleased to introduce to you the first of 2 2022 Creative Writing Department student speakers, Elena Karina Byrne.
Hello, and congratulations, Antioch University Class of 2022. As writers living in these historical times of crisis and necessity, We recognize how writing and dialoguing has brought us closer together, igniting necessary interactions between divergent voices and viewpoints. Our unique place on this timeline of the moment calls for an ongoing conversation, for us to challenge our writing skills and democracy of values. To imagine the importance of this unique master's degree, let's consider that why language is more than a tool of communication. It is a universal responsibility, a homecoming to who we are as humans living on one planet. Language is our personal, social, cultural, and political power. At 62, with 5 books under my belt, 3 previous graduate school acceptances, and a host of excuses, I finally decided to earn my MFA. So this will not be the first time I'll declare that Antioch University's superb MFA program made me a better writer because I believe it made me a better person. If you're an invested writer, you are by necessity and by desire's design a forever student. Then you will not allow obstacles to stop you. Even when our work becomes a runaway horse, we move forward, fueled by the belief in others and therefore in ourselves. My time at Antioch taught me that. The poet Wallace Stevens once wrote, "After the final no, there comes a yes, and on that yes, the future world depends." Graduation is a yes on life's stage of future affirmations, because on that yes, we know the future world depends. Thank you.
Our second MFA in creative writing speaker is Ismael Izzy Santillanes. Izzy is a poet and artist living in desert hot springs, California. The xeric canvas that taught him to see beyond seemingly lifeless forms is the same desert meditation upon faint wisps of meaning, the poetic language of breath and brevity. With a Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing, he will continue to analyze how language lifts off the page to project to the mental screen as image or meaning, to venture into a life as a book critic. Please welcome MFA in Creative Writing speaker, Izzy Santillanes.
I entered poetry in search of the right word that spoke exactly what I thought or felt. I was fascinated by the inward journey taken as I sat quietly at night when the world thickened and slowed, when the day's tumultuousness left vituperating upon the skin, turned into some ethereal substance, absorbed into the body, the mind, where each writer respectively searches for the exact way to say what needs saying. It is the process of writing, the journey to self-discovery that yields to the development of our humanity. Each time we ask, is that the right word? We ask, who am I? It is an interrogatory of what you actually think or feel, of who you really are. Even if you do not write what you found out about yourself, you still asked and you still answered. In other words, you still discovered more of yourself. When young me first joined the poetry workshop turned home for 23 years, I wanted to be a poet because it was cool. Antioch has all but obliterated that ideal within me. I still write as a way to find the right word. However, I no longer wish to be a poet. I am. I came in search of the right word and found a voice. I am now a kingfisher with a human soul who dives into the turbulent waters of life to breach with a beak full of knowing, to share with you what I found. Us. Thank you.
It is my pleasure to read the names of the Creative Writing Department's class of 2022 who are participating in today's ceremony. Asin Butt, Elena Karina Byrne, Gabriela Diaquisto, Faith Esco, Nicholas Matthew Anthony Galvez. Anissa Hale. Ariel Elizabeth Lawrence. Amy Mills Klipstein. Laura Newcomer. Daniel O'Leary. Yamini Patuk. Crystal Rika Perkins. Barbara Platts-Farrow. Ismail Izzy Santillanes. Julianne Savard. Indu Subaya. Antoinette Marshall Wiley. Elizabeth Young. Tracy Young. Congratulations to the Creative Writing Department's class of 2022. And now for that part of today's commencement ceremony that you have all been waiting for, the conferral of degrees. For this next portion of the virtual commencement ceremony, we shall cut to a live Zoom room where our graduates are waiting. Will the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Master of Arts, and Master of Fine Arts please show yourselves? Provost Hauer, on behalf of the faculty, I present to you, for appropriate recognition, the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Master of Arts, and Master of Fine Arts.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of Antioch University, Los Angeles, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of Antioch University, I hereby confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Master of Arts, and Master of Fine Arts, with all the rights, honors, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. Graduates, you may now move your tassels from right to left. This ceremony is nearly over, but before we conclude, we have a tradition of providing a charge to all new graduates. First, graduates, welcome to the Antioch alumni community. You are automatically life members. We are strengthened by your addition to our community. As Antioch graduates, you are part of a long tradition, and I want to take a moment to recount part of that story and to connect it to the present. Antioch College was established in Ohio in 1852. This was a particularly challenging period in our nation's history, and though it may seem long ago, there is much that might seem familiar. Our country had been deeply divided for decades. Political institutions had become polarized and entrenched in sectionalism. The cruelty and hate associated with slavery permeated public discourse and action. Violence and intimidation fed domestic terrorism in places like Bleeding, Kansas. Even the floor of the Senate was the scene of an attack on a prominent senator by a congressional colleague wielding a walking cane as a weapon. It was in such a time that Horace Mann established Antioch College as its founding president. Mann was already a prominent abolitionist and leader of the movement to establish public education. Mann believed a democratic society required broad, active engagement of an educated citizenry, not domination of a privileged few. From the very beginning, the college enrolled black and white students who studied together taught by both male and female professors. This was the context when Mann delivered his famous challenge to students in his final commencement address in 1859. He implored them to win some victory for humanity. Generations of Antiochians have heeded that call to serve, working for social justice and the common good. Mann's compelling vision retains its power, in part because a great deal of work remains to create a more equitable, prosperous society that works for all, and in which the citizens actively support a vital democracy. In recent times, we've seen the scourge of hate and racism amplified by social media and gun violence. The pandemic has laid bare deep structural and societal challenges and inequities from our nation's inception. And now climate change cannot be dismissed simply as weather. Over 50 years after Mann's invocation, John Dewey, American philosopher and educational reformer, like Mann, wrote, "Democracy must be reborn in each generation, and education is its midwife." This statement helps frame the import of the work ahead and also underscores Mann's vision of education's central role in promoting democratic ideals and the societal conditions that maintain democratic institutions. Whatever your path, whether as a teacher, a therapist, a manager, a writer, a community activist, or something altogether different, I know you will find your authentic way to address the injustice and inequities that diminish us individually and divide us from each other. I ask that you continue to hone your critical systemic thinking skills, to deepen your capacity for compassion and connection with others, and to be an active and conscious agent of change in all you do. This is a lot to take onto your shoulders, and please know you are not alone in this work. Together, we can create a community, society, and world that works for all. I look forward to joining you in this important endeavor. Thank you all for participating in Antioch University Los Angeles' 2022 virtual commencement ceremony. If you wish to stay on for a few more minutes, you will be able to enjoy the slideshow of personal images that were submitted by graduates. Congratulations, class of 2022.